We've been here at Tivoli Gardens in Copenhagen all day, and I dragged Emily on the Drop of Doom, clearly, and the roller coaster, and this really awesome spinny ride that goes something like 120 or 10 kilometers an hour. So she dragged me on the car ride. Because I can't drive my own car. But this is a pretty cool amusement park. It's, I believe, one of the oldest amusement parks in Europe. So I think that's what makes it so spectacular. I'm really glad we got to come here today, and we got to go on a lot of rides with some pretty decent weather. So the next couple days will be more about exploring this city of Copenhagen, and we're going to take some bikes tomorrow to do that. We're here at Tivoli Gardens, and we just got off the Tower Terror, Drop of Doom, whatever you want to call it, and how was it? She's crying!
Oh my god, people are staring. People are 100%
That's
staring.
okay.
They stare all the time.
It's
Shy heights. I just can't do heights.
How was the ride? Was it fun?
It was great. It was a fantastic view.
She's like uncontrollably sobbing while laughing. It's very
hysterical.
weird. Hysteric. She's in hysteric.
If you can't tell from our faces and our hair, it is absolutely pouring out there.
It's been on the day we decided to take the bikes out to explore the city. Note the rain in the background.
Yeah. It's been on and off all day, but at least we got a good, some good weather yesterday when we went to Tivoli Gardens, because this rain would suck on the roller coaster. If we thought it was bad walking and biking, it would be absolutely terrible on those rides.
That's true.
They were terrible enough as it was. That's not true, that was a lie. It was scary as fuck.
They were fun.
But yeah, so right behind me, if you can see, all right there, down that way, is called, I actually don't know how to properly pronounce it.
It's a Christiania.
It's spelled Christiania in the neighborhood of Christianshaven. I'm sure I butchered that pronunciation, but something like that. This wall community is, the best way to describe it is a hippie-made anarchic society within a society. I don't know the full history very well, but from my understanding, they tried setting it up in the 60s, and they kept trying to shut it down, like the police and the cops and the law. And then finally they came to an understanding, so now it's its own community. It's not technically part of the EU. There's actually a sign on the inside when you come out that says now entering the EU. There's a bunch of rules posted when you go inside. I think the first one was have fun.
Have fun. That's a rule.
If you can. The second
running.
one is no running, because that causes panic, which is understandable, because the third one is no photos, because, as they put it, hash is still illegal. So basically they're fully acknowledging that they're still selling hash, but they don't want photo evidence of it, because that could get them in a lot of trouble, even though it's basically overlooked because everyone knows they do it there. They have booths set up in there that's actually that like sell hash and stuff sort of thing, but a lot of them have their faces covered and things like that. So
it was a pretty interesting experience to walk through, and all of a sudden you feel like you're somewhere else because it's just so different within those walls.
where else have we gone today?
We went to the Little Mermaid statue, which was covered in tourists, just swarming.
So many.
I mean, I guess the statue's nice, but
I still don't know why it's so famous. Like, it's not that big, and it's cool, I guess. Like, it's a statue in the water, but for that many tourists, I just don't really get it. It was cool to see, I guess, though, just because it is so famous.
so possible. So then we also went to this place called Nijhaven, if that's how you say it, but essentially it's along a couple canals, and it's some really, really colorful old-style houses that are all placed together on either side of the canals, and the canals are filled with old-style ships and canal boats. Apparently Hans Christian Andersen actually lived in a couple of the houses back when he was a writer when he was living here.
basically that canal that Copenhagen is so famous for, that you see pictures of all the time with the colorful houses and stuff like that. If it wasn't pouring rain, it would have been super cool to hang out there for a while. It was a really pretty area. I liked it. It was surrounded by I'm assuming, downtown Copenhagen. There's the Amaliaborg Palace there, which is where the royal family lives, just like a couple blocks away from it. A lot of the cafes and restaurants in there looked pretty good too. Did we go anywhere else today?
We've just been cycling around. I'm loving the cycle network here in Copenhagen. I was really excited to get to test it out for myself because it's world renowned for the amount of cyclists here and the ease and accessibility for cyclists to safely ride throughout the city. You really could live in this city without a vehicle and get everywhere you needed to go on a bike so much better than anywhere else I've seen before.
It's very accessible. They even have bikes with little carts on the front that they put groceries and stuff in. We saw a couple with ones to put your children in. There was a couple of children wrapped up tight in their blankets while their parents drove them to school or wherever they were headed. One just passed with the dog in the front. So far, really liking Copenhagen. It's not my favorite place so far, but it's still, I'm really glad that we got it to make our way up this far north because it's just a really interesting city to be in. It's very different than what we're used to. It's hard getting used to the language. Everyone speaks English, but nothing is written in English, and it's also hard getting used to the currency because their currency, like on average, like a muffin would be like 14 kronen. Like it's just way higher numbers than we're used to, so it's harder to get used to that. But
the rain stopped, so we're off to jump back on our bikes and see where it takes us next. So I was really excited to try out the bike network that Copenhagen has, and I must say I was not disappointed. You can get basically anywhere you need to get, at least in the inner city, using the cycle track network, and nearly all the time you're completely separated from vehicles. Everyone's really polite, it's easy to find where you need to go using them, and even for someone like me and Emily who aren't advanced bike riders but more moderate or intermediate level, we still found that we were really comfortable getting around and everything like that. So I'm super glad that I got to bike around today and actually experience it for myself. It's crazy that just everywhere you go there's cyclists and bikes, just compared to anywhere else I've ever been. It's just such an overwhelming culture and it's really cool to see. So it's time to leave Copenhagen and move on to Amsterdam, which I'm sad and happy about. I'm excited for Amsterdam, but sad to leave Copenhagen. I really, really, really want to live here. Like, let's face it, I want to live in Copenhagen.
that is all she has been saying for 2 days now.
I just want to bike everywhere and just be in Copenhagen. So I will be back.
I think if we had the bikes a bit longer, and if it was not pouring rain, it would have been really nice to see more of the city because it's so accessible. We actually got a lot done on the day that we did take the bikes out. So even just to see Copenhagen as a regular city, not a tourist attraction, not looking for specific things, just to see how the life is, I think, well, it'd be beneficial for you. But
Even hanging out at that market the day before, it was cool to see all the people and just the hustle and bustle of just, it wasn't tourists, it was just locals going to this awesome market and hanging out in this awesome park in the sunshine, and it just was a community that I really liked the feel of.
yeah, so off to Amsterdam. We're staying in a boat, so that'll be fun.
Yep.
But I mean, this hostel was all right too.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was all right.
It's all right. Yeah.
But yeah. That was
Meet you in
Copenhagen.
Amsterdam.